Being a flight attendant, formerly known as a steward or stewardess, involves more than just serving drinks. While it's true that flight attendants tend to the comfort of the passengers, there's much more to this career. A flight attendant's primary job is keeping airline passengers and crew safe. They respond to any emergencies that occur on the aircraft and make sure everyone follows Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) regulations. Curious about this high-flying career? Let's take a closer look at how to become a flight attendant and the training and certifications flight attendants are required to get. Get hired by an airline. The first step in becoming a flight attendant is applying for a position with an airline. You'll need to meet the airline's requirements for education and experience. Airlines require job applicants to have at least a high school or equivalency diploma. Many, however, will only hire candidates who have taken college classes or who have an associate or bachelor's degree. Degrees that will prepare you especially well include hospitality, communication, tourism, and public relations. Employers also prefer job candidates who have work experience in a related job. If you want to become a flight attendant, consider getting experience in customer service by working in a hotel, resort, or restaurant. Point 1. Flight attendants must also meet specific physical requirements. Airlines typically have minimum and maximum heights. They also require attendants to be able to sit in a jump seat and complete a range of physical tasks, like pushing, pulling, bending, and lifting with reasonable accommodation. You will also need to pass a background check and a pre-employment drug screening. Visible tattoos are typically not allowed unless they can be concealed with makeup. Point 2. Be prepared to complete multiple interviews. For example, the airline may start with a phone screening or group interview before proceeding to a one-on-one interview. Dress professionally and be prepared to discuss why you would be an excellent choice to represent the airline. Once an airline hires you, the company will provide formal training at its flight training center. During the 3 to 6 weeks you will spend there, expect to receive classroom instruction on flight regulations, job duties, and company operations. Airlines will typically arrange for lodging and transportation to the training center, but you may be responsible for meals. Training may be paid or unpaid depending on the airline. Point 2-3. Along with the other new hires, you will learn how to handle emergencies, including procedures for evacuating an airplane and operating emergency equipment such as evacuation slides, oxygen masks, and flotation devices. As you near the end of your classroom instruction, you will take practice flights and you'll be evaluated on your skills. After you finish the employer-sponsored training, the Director of Operations at the airline will apply for your certificate of demonstrated proficiency from the FAA. Once the agency confirms your record, you will be eligible to work on a flight. Flight attendants must receive annual training to keep the certification up to date. With your training complete and your certificate in hand, you may think you'll soon be jetting all over the world and earning a living at the same time. Not so fast. While there will be some opportunities to work, you won't have a regular schedule yet, and it will be a while before you get to fly some of the more desirable routes. How long depends on the airline you're working for and which hub you're working out of, but it could be anywhere from a few months to a few years. New flight attendants typically spend at least 1 year on reserve status. Reserve status is essentially being on call. You'll have to keep your overnight bag packed since you will have to report to work at a moment's notice to replace absent crew members or cover extra flights. You're paid for the time that you're on reserve, and the airline typically assigns you specific days to be on call. You won't be on call every minute. Point 5-2. Eventually, you will be able to bid on monthly assignments, but that comes with seniority. What you learn during your training will prepare you for the technical aspects of your job as a flight attendant, but your soft skills are just as important. You will need excellent communication skills because you will spend a lot of time interacting with passengers and other members of your flight crew. Stressful situations call for strong customer service and problem-solving skills. Good listening skills will allow you to understand and meet customers' needs. Recently, we discussed how to handle an anxiety attack while flying on a plane. One resource we did not discuss was talking to a flight attendant. Of course, flight attendants are not mental health professionals, nor are they trained professionals other than the job requirements for being a flight attendant. However, flight attendants are likely to have some training in handling a mental health crisis because it is one of the many emergency situations which can take place while en route. Flight attendants may be trained in what is called mental health first aid and have the tools available to help you work through a mental health crisis like a panic attack or an anxiety attack. Flight attendants are used to comforting unaccompanied minors who are afraid of flying or terrified of being alone on the plane. Hysterics and temper tantrums are commonplace. While an anxiety attack is neither hysterical nor a temper tantrum, the operations are mostly the same. Children feel threatened and go into survival mode, the same fight or flight response taking place when you are experiencing anxiety. How a flight attendant would talk to and calm a child experiencing anxiety is how they can help you. Moreover, just talking to a kind, understanding, and compassionate individual is helpful. Flight attendants will be skilled in helping you take your mind off the anxiety. They'll ask you all about where you're from, what you do, what your family is like, where you're going, what you'll do there. They'll ask you to tell stories, describe things that you like, and remind you that everything is going to be okay. You might even be offered an extra snack or a full can of a beverage of your choice. High-ticket consolation prices on a plane ride.